So welcome to another Asia stream towards the end of the week. We've currently got our 1 hour chart, which we are using to map our weekly expansion. And normally normally in a week, we're just looking for those 1 hour expansions. So we look for that manipulation range of the week. So we've had a Tuesday high of the week here. Tuesday zone. We started with a Monday low, expanded straight away up to that SD3, not quite 3.5 there. Had our turnaround for our Tuesday high. So manipulation above true day open. Get a break of our zone here. Push down straight away to SD 4.5. Some big sell-offs. And this is the normal range you would get, right, for a whole week. And we've had another additional 2 legs so far. Each day we're getting a whole another expansion to SD 4.5. Pretty big. Abnormal, I would say, for this week. You know, this is what a normal week would look like. We just get that one leg. So we'll go over this part quickly. So Monday we had our breakout, return to zone, push up to that SD3. Let me pop TDO on there as well. True day open, our midnight open. It was here. So we manipulated below true day open, pushed up, manipulated above true day open, expanded down. Into Wednesday, we manipulate above true day open, come back into a New York AM here, 7 o'clock, expand down. Thursday, we open, we manipulate above true day open, expand down. We get our bounces, SD 1.5, we come back up for redistribution, expand down SD 2.5. Come back up for redistribution, expand down to the next leg, SD 3.5. And then possible continuation down here to finish off the leg. So once we get our next true day open, midnight open, place that wherever, and not expecting too much, maybe just some consolidation here. If we're lucky, we'll get a big whipsaw and then we can look for a TGIF, but it's a pretty expansive week, so wouldn't count on getting a 20 to 30% retracement, but we'll see. Let's put our weekly candle on and we can have a bit of a look. Just offset this to the side. And we can pull our fib now from the weekly high. And then we can keep adjusting this as the weekly goes down lower to have a look. Select our TGIF. I'm going to reverse this. So we get right down to that SD 4.5, then we can watch these levels and see what happens. If it doesn't just consolidate at the end. All right, before I jump into the daily review, does anyone have any questions on the 1 hour chart? For those that are new in here, we're using the 1 hour chart to map the weekly expansion, looking for to find the manipulations at the start of the week and ride the candle body down. And the idea behind the TGIF is we have, open manipulation, we come down, and you're trying to capture that last bit of the wick creation. Sweet. Pretty clean so far. All right, so let's jump into our daily review. Look at this, we've already come down to SD 4.5 of this 5-minute swing. She's cooked. All right, so we use those 1 hour levels to look and see if that hits SD 4.5 on the 1 hour. Finish off the week there. Looking forward to reviewing that tomorrow. Let's begin. So I'm going to discuss the OTE levels as well during this daily review. And what we're using, OTE stands for your optimal trade entry. It's ICT uses it and teaches it as OTE. There's another, it's been around for a lot longer, been around for a long time. And what we're looking at, I'll do a quick drawing of that first. Get a bit of space here. What we're looking at is a retracement. We're using a fib for retracement of swings. So say we've had a manipulation swing up here, right, and we start breaking down. We want to draw a fib from the high to where the next low swing comes in, and we want to measure the ideal retracement area and how far that's going to be. And that's where we want to look for then an entry, because we want an entry in premium if we're looking for shorts to then continue down, back down to that low. So using our fib, and we can do this at each swing, right? And then as we're just making the smaller swings, we just keep dragging this down. So these are the OTE settings that I'm using. So 0.5, so your EQ of the range, 0.62, 705, and 79. 79 is our soup level that we mention a lot of the times. So we're dragging this on from the high swing down to the low. And price will come back up. And we're looking for entries much from that 6.2 or 6.18 is the standard level. 6.2, or sometimes we'll get that 7.9 soup. And then once we break that low, and we put in another one, we can then do our swing again. So we go from this pivot high down to this pivot low, and we're looking for continuation shorts here. And we can keep doing this until the highs start to get taken. And then we go back the other way. So if we take this low, come back up, take this high, we can then draw from this low swing to the high swing. And if we go a bit higher and then down, we would then increase this again, and then we're looking for entries around those OTE areas. All right. So let's see. Thank you. So it helps us map premium and discount of the main swings. So starting the day, starting here, Q1 for Asia. We know we're having a bearish expansion week, right? High time frame. In between the swings, just noise, and we're using them to map out where we want to look for price to get in. This is what I also, during our daily chart setup, if you've been following along every day, always have PDH, PDL. It's PDH, PDL, and OT of the daily range, because I want price to suck back into the daily range and then continue down. And I want to look for entries here because I want to catch this expansion leg. I want that candle body expansion. And Wednesdays and Thursdays, price tends to come back to either 0.25 or just to 0.5 of that daily range, which is also worth noting, especially in large expansion weeks. You don't get those deep retracements. So we've started our day and we've already come back up. A lot of the time we'll get like a New York PM zone here, and then Asia would just start up here, right? And we can actually look for longs here to push back into that midpoint of the daily range during Asia, but we New York PM had already pushed up. So we've had our open here. We come back down. We get a little Q1 manipulation here. We can have that. So this can stay as a Asia zone until that low gets taken. I think I had this drawn out originally and was looking for longs until that broke. And starting the day, we had this zone here as well, which was the New York PM zone. So we'd already come up to 2.5 and pushed up into that 4 to 4.5. We'll draw that one as a box. So we pushed up into that box, almost SD1 there. And then this gave a nice reversal fractal, right? Nice clean BPR here. So we've got fair value gaps on both sides. Very clean high swing into that 200 SMA here. So while we're bearish, we want to be looking for shorts around that area, and that's helping us stay in line with the trend. We then get our candle close right on here, breaking our zone. So this then becomes our Asia Q2 zone here. So we're in quarter 2 on the 90-minute cycle. We get our break. I ended short straight after this candle close here, right on that open 2100. First target SD 1.5, second target SD 2.5. Nice expansion straight away. SD 1.5, we expect a reaccumulation. Price comes back up. Almost retesting the zone there, didn't quite hit it. And a nice leg straight back down into SD2 to 2.5 for that next reaccumulation leg. And expansion to SD 2.5 down in quarter 4. Once we got this low swing and we take out the high here, we can then draw on our OTE, which is what we have here. Sorry, this one was drawn from this swing. We can do that now from the high to the low. Move that across. No, that was the one I've got over here. Bit cleaner. So I've got it drawn here, right? So this is from the high to the low swing. Get a break here. So another zone here. So quarter 4 zone we break. Not too interested in getting price coming back up here as we are in that trend. We're below that 200 SMA. But I still want to map it. I still want to map that retracement back to that OTE. A lot of the time we'll just get price come back to SD1 1.5 into continuation. But this went up for that whole 3-hour block. So we can see London's open, so quarter 1. So we get that break and retest here. Should have that drawn on as a zone. Come back out, retest. Push up to 0.79 sweep level. Back into that Asia zone. So this Asia high stays as high of the day until it's not. So we're looking for that to be respected until price comes back and flips it. 0.79. We then get our break here of the zone into a SBS. So we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we get our breakdown for 6. This took ages to play out. So this was all of London, this whole redistribution leg. So into our OTE. So with this leg here too, which is what we do with SBS, we can also do another OTE swing, right? So just from this high down to this low, just change template. So we had our 7-9 soup from these two legs, and then this leg to this leg, we have another 7-9 soup here. And price unable to close above that, as well as that 200 SMA. And if we mark out 50% of the zones, so we always want to pay attention to 50% of the zones. We don't want to see candle closes above that. Let's make this a thicker color there. And if we draw on 50% of Asia's, it's here as well. So we have a nice zone stack here. We come back, price comes back, mitigates, longs used to manipulate price here. Get those expansive moves down. Price comes back up. This is actually coming back up into here. We've got a down close here into this up close. And the reason I didn't use this part as the zone was because that down close candle in between is stuck in between these two candles, right? Like the body is within this candle. But this whole swing here, price is coming back into that first top swing, mitigating the longs used here for the manipulation. All right, so we get our SBS into our OTE, another 7-9 soup, and huge expansion down, straight to SD 3.5 here. We get that one bounce at 1.5. This is that redistribution. Straight through 2.5 to 3.5. And then we have another SBS presenting. So we have our breakdown here, one, second swing. And so when we want to get in later, we want to look for sweeps of that second swing. 1, 2, 3, 4. We then have an OTE from the origin of this swing. So this one starts here, down to this low. Price comes back to 62705 for the fourth swing, and then no real fifth swing at all there, just large continuation down to SD 4.5. OT is measured off the manipulation swing, correct? So we're using the whole leg, right? So we want to see those main pivots for our OTEs. So we're doing it from here to here, from here to here, and then we've used this part down to here. We can then do from this high to this low, which is this one here. So we come back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, another 7-9 soup, down to that low for 6. Same thing on higher time frames, man. So we use it from PDH to PDO every day. You can use it for your 6-hour ranges, 4-hour ranges, from those high to lows. All fractal. See another nice SBS here. So we hear that SD 4.5, come back in, 7-9 from this high to this low. So just think these as one big candle, and then we're coming back into that candle. We can't stay in premium of that candle, and then we continue down. So this becomes the wick of that candle, open, high, low, close. We're trying to get in on the wicks of the high time frame, which are coming back into OTE or just above the EQ level of that previous high time frame candle. And that's why, like even if you're doing it from these lines, right? If we pick just the highs and lows from each of these, all this is your H3 candle. Cool. All right, so yeah, back up to 709 and then huge expansion there. And we just hit that SD 4.5 on open. So this is the current high that took the lows there. So we can now have another OTE swing. Once we're still waiting for a low to get put in there at the moment. It's still going on. And once that hits its point, we can then pop that in and then we would look for continuation again at those levels. And that stays validated until that high gets taken up here. Any questions? I got through that a bit quicker than I thought I would. Got another so Q3 manipulation. So this whole swing was that PM Q3 manipulation, which just pushed into that OTE of the previous candle to get the leg down. No, don't review ES, just NQ, man. So if we go back to our 1 hour, so this is the main deviations we're watching now for the 1 hour. Yeah, correct. I do know divergence from ES to NQ. This is a huge weekly candle. Almost 7%. All right, we've still got a little bit of time before Big jumps on. So if you guys are happy to hang around, I'll start doing my daily chart setup. Alrighty, let's get into it. Everyone's so quiet today. I'll clear this chat. Pop on our sessions, and then I'll start marking them out manually. So we had our London was our high of the day again. We're going to mark that out as our PDH. And we mark this out all the way across to 1800. PDL. Now, same thing that we do every day. So now we're doing an OTE of this range. And then with the expansion weeks, I normally have that 0.25 I add in. We're not even going to come up and go into to then go down. It's just dying. Finishing off that 1 hour leg. What is the deciding factor whether you enter trades on the break or you wait for the retracement? It does depend on the price action a little bit. Let me go back to our previous chart. Like that Asia high was really clean. This is really clean here. So I was happy to enter here, but this is a pretty large swing, right? So I couldn't do very large size of this. Like ideally, we come back down and would come back up into here, and I could enter with more size up here. When you get those highs with those nice BPRs on the inside, I'm pretty confident for that to hold as a manipulation swing. And because we are in, volatility is pretty high at the moment, and we are getting these big swings. So I just wanted to get in with a small size here, right at that break, which was good because that came straight down to SD 1.5. Once SD 1.5's hit stacker, I don't want to get a re-entry in. So if we hit that and then come back up, I will just let that go because TP1's already taken. So that worked out well. With London, I did wait until we come back up and then entered in here. Entered at the 6.2 here. Plus we had that Sibi in here. So entered here. This was also small position just because the range of this zone is so big. Entered here and then just had to wait for all of this until we got that New York AM pushed down. So ideally we just get these breaks right like this and I wait for that pullback and we get in here. Yeah. Whereas if this had gone straight down to 1.5, I wouldn't have gotten an entry. Yeah. And because this leg broke down a fair way, I wasn't just trying to enter off the zone, and because this zone is quite big as well. Whereas that Asia one was right on the zone with that candle close. Here. But yeah, these are the best ones. And then when you compare it with an SBS like this, we have that sweep of 2, OTE, bang. Just annoying we've got that second bounce here for 5. Because that here, you're feeling pretty good. You get the entry, it breaks down straight away, back out of the zone, and then sucks back in. All right, so we marked our PDH, PDL. We want to do our fixed range volume profile. We're looking for that point of control for this whole swing from PDH down to PDL. This is good when you do this at the start of the day as well for open, right? We're going for time, got 30 minutes still. So we can see we have our high volume nodes here, and then orders are really thin here. The days that we get those bounces and you want those 1800 moves, or you can look for those 1800 longs, is we get a high volume node here into the PM at quarter 3, and you actually get a PM zone, and we have a high volume node here to support it. But at the moment, there's nothing here. There's no buyers to support price here. Nothing is coming in. So something to watch when you're doing those PDH to PDL volume profile POCs. So our current one is along here. Discord's just dropped out, guys. Just give me a sec. All right. Does that make sense? So we're looking for those high volume nodes here, and then a Q3 zone from the PM, which we normally see here, comes back out, and then we can look for those Asia longs to come back up into that OTE range or even 0.25. But yeah, we just got nothing there at the moment. All right, so we're going to put our vertical lines on now. We want to start mapping these H3s. And I'm going to put that 1 hour standard deviation on too, so we can see where that SD4 was coming in. So we're SD 4.5 at 236. What else have we got to the left of that? Got a zone here back from November as well. Let's drag that across. That's what was responsible for this move up. That's what we're coming into at the moment. So we're taking consideration the SMT. Are we getting one at the moment? Everything's just nuking. Everything's dying. All right, so then we want to add our New York PM levels. So we have our PM high coming in up here. Always want those previous session levels on. And New York PM low finish down here. Just already swept. Switch that off now as well. And I just want to have a look at the 12-hour medians. This is our 12-hour external median. So historically, when we sweep that previous 12-hour low, we're currently in the 75th percentile. So only 25% of the 12-hour candles get this low. It's definitely a point of interest down here, right? So like only 5% of 12-hour candles that take the low come down to here. 15% to here. So this SD 4.5 of that H1 can be pretty key today to watch. You short right now? Nah, man. I need structure to short, right? I need stuff like this and then get short from that zone. You know, I want to be in up here, don't want to be in down here. Take that off now. So internal medians back here at that POC. So that was so 50% of the 12-hour candles come up to that internal median. Should be interesting later, especially when we go into that next 12-hour after 6 to see where that 12-hour median is, and if we do get some sort of alignment for the TGIF, or if we are just going to hit that additional 4.5 and just stuff around here to the end of the day. All right, guys, that's pretty much done my chart setup. So what we can do while we're talking about the OTEs, right, if we're doing that for looking for the pivot, so we have this one here, so for our open for this 3-hour, and then wherever this low comes in, to finish off the 3-hour, we can then mark that out once the low is in. And we draw that across to the next 3-hour box and work with that until the high gets taken. So at the moment, we have this low that's just come in. We stick with that high. We can draw a line there if you want. And then this becomes our OTE area until that high gets taken and invalidates it. And basically what we're doing, if we're looking at this on a 3-hour candle, we're just using this 3-hour candle, just like this one, right? 3-hour candle, looking for price to come back into that 3-hour candle, continue down. Same here. 3-hour candle closes, price comes back into that, expands down. Six two, expansion down. We're just looking at it in the lower time frames. So if this keeps moving down, we just keep dragging it down with price until we get a low in. Alrighty, well that concludes the daily chart setup. There's no positions for me here to look into. Like I said, I want the structure sort of like this, for us to come back up to then continue. Just a good day to watch. No worries, man. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It was a nice quick lesson. Hope that helps everyone understand the OTEs and how to use them, why I have them on the side here from the daily chart setup. You can also go back through my mentorship channel, and that shows you the profiles for the expansions that just come back to that daily range 0.25, right, and then push down, compared to getting your London or New York highs, which come back into the deeper OTE and expansion down. Hi, Renko. Just logged on. Oh, man. I'm just about to close the stream, but this one is recorded, so I'll pop that in my channel once it's finished rendering. Yeah, I'll post it up, Tony. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'll jump off so Big can jump on shortly. And yeah, I'll post that recording for the team that missed it.